Hi, and welcome back to Enigmatic Universe. Today, I found an article on National Geographic's that I thought, well, I'm sure that a lot of you already know a lot about this. However, I want to get into it. I want to read the entire article, and then we can discuss it. I would hope for future discussions, future videos on these separate subjects. So, let's go ahead and get into it. Right, so here on National Geographic's, which I know belongs to Disney, but I saw this article, supposedly this article came out 2 weeks ago, which is fine, it's whatever, but I saw it and it's basically, you know, just flying over it, it's basically, you know, listing things that governments were involved in when it comes to UFOs. So when I created the channel, or even before this channel, and I was still doing videos over on Clifton 3D, I was thinking that we would also be talking about aliens, we would be talking about conspiracy theories and stuff like that, and we never actually have done anything in this regards, because I'm usually over on the Ancient Origins webpage for articles, which, don't get me wrong, I love doing that. However, I figured that we should definitely get into this, you know, list everything that we know the government has been involved in, and go from there. What do you say? So, what we know from decades of UFO government investigations, mysterious flying objects, claim of crashed alien spacecrafts, the U.S. has spent decades inquiring into the unknown. Here's what we've learned. All right, so let's just go ahead and get into the article. There's something strange going on in the sky, but what? Unidentified flying objects are much in the news lately after a whistleblower claimed that the United States had discovered the remains of a crashed alien spaceship. Yes, I think we should definitely also go back. I know it's been a few weeks since that interview. I think we should definitely go back and watch it together, maybe in a live stream, if that would interest you. Definitely let me know down in the comments if that is something that we should do together. Watch that exact interview, and you know, just talk about it. Maybe somebody wants to come on. If you do, DM me. The Pentagon denied the report, but the U.S. Congress remained interested, and in June, the House Oversight Committee announced it will hold a hearing on UFOs, or, as the U.S. government calls them, unidentified aerial phenomenon, UAPs. In addition to recent claims by a whistleblower, a committee spokesperson said reports continue to surface regarding unidentified anomalous phenomenon. Such reports have been surfacing for decades. The modern era of UFO sightings and investigations started after World War II with a sudden surge of unexplained reports. How the Pentagon learned to start worrying and investigate UFOs. The U.S. officials didn't necessarily dream of meeting extraterrestrials in their investigations. As the Cold War with the Soviet Union got underway, American leaders worried that UFOs represented a threat from rival nations. Aliens never invaded, although new sightings happen all the time, as do investigations into those reports. how to keep track of it all, here's a timeline of our ongoing fascination with UFOs. 1947 to 1969, Project Blue Book. Over the course of 2 decades, the U.S. Air Force cataloged 12,618 sightings of UFOs as part of what is now known as Project Blue Book. These include lights, objects, and unexplained radar readings reported by military and civilian pilots, weather observers, astronomers, and other sources. The project came to an end in 1969 after a study by the University of Colorado concluded there was no evidence that UFOs came from other worlds, and that most sightings could be explained by natural phenomena, or even hoaxes. Our general conclusion is that nothing has come from the study of UFOs in the past 21 years, and has added to scientific knowledge, said the study leader Edward U. Condon. Further investigation, he said, cannot be justified. Still, rumors and sightings persisted, sometimes to the annoyance of the original investigators. The Air Force announced in a 1985 fact sheet that there are not now nor ever have been any extraterrestrial visitors or equipment on Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, where the investigation was headquartered. 1995, a U.S. senator takes interest. The Condon report didn't put an end to interest in UFOs. So-called UFOlogists spent the next few decades filling open records requests with federal agencies to uncover what was known about the sightings, the legend of Area 51, and why it still fascinates us. Definitely. If you want me to talk about the 1995 incidences, or if you want me to talk about Area 51, what we know or think we know, or I don't know, I remember there was like some kind of a storming, or there was supposed to be something like that. They wanted to do like a Naruto run or something like that. In 1995, businessman Robert Bigelow convened a small group of Las Vegas to discuss the possibility of alien life. He called the group the National Institute for Discovery Science. Participants included 2 former astronauts, Ed Mitchell and Harrison Smith, and 1 sitting U.S. Senator Harry Reid, Democrat of Nevada. I'm not a fan of Harry Reid, however. It seems that he has been trying to push to get UFO knowledge on, out in the front. So at least there's that. A lot of people said it would ruin my career, Reid later said. That didn't quite happen. Reid would eventually become a key figure in driving the U.S. government's investigation of UFOs. 2004, an encounter off San Diego. In November 2004, 2 Navy pilots on a training mission were ordered to intercept a mysterious craft they saw and captured on video. An unusual oval-shaped craft, about 40 feet long, hovering over the Pacific Ocean, about 100 miles off San Diego. It streaked away before the pilots could get near. I have no idea what I saw, said one of the pilots, Commander David Favor, at the time. It had no plumes, wings, or rotors, and outran an F-18, our F-18s. 2007, new Pentagon investigation. With backing from Reid, now the U.S. Senate's majority leader, the Pentagon launched the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program to investigate the latest rounds of sightings. What was considered science fiction is now science fact. the agency said in briefing papers. The program was run by a military intelligence office, Luis Elizondo, and worked hand in hand with an aerospace research company run by Bigelow. In 2017, going public, these incidences and investigations mostly went unreported to the broader public until December 2017, when the New York Times reported the existence of the Pentagon's Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program. Although Pentagon officials said the program had ended in 2012, Elizondo told the paper he continued its work informally, with cooperations from the Navy and CIA until his resignation in the fall of 2017. That sparked a new wave of interest in UFOs among the public, the media, and even scientists. 2020, a scientific call to action. In July 2020, Ravi Koparapu, I'm sorry if I butchered your name, and Jacob Hack Misra, a NASA scientist and astrobiologist, respectively, wrote in Scientific America that it was time to revisit the conclusions of the Conan report. Perhaps some, or even most, UAP events are simply classified military aircraft, or strange weather formations, or other misidentified mundane phenomena. They wrote, however, there are still a number of truly puzzling cases that might be worth investigating. Here's where earthbound travelers can search for extraterrestrial life. Okay, we're going to look at it. Let's see what it is. Okay, it's just another article. That's fine. All right, so in August 2020, the Pentagon announces the Unidentified Aerial Phenomenon Task Force to improve its understanding of and gain insight into the nature of the origins of the unidentified objects. 2021 D&I report. In April 2021, the Navy confirmed video of unidentified objects buzzing U.S. warships near California. The incident would be added to the list of sightings under investigation. I remember that. Those reports coming out, it was rather small and stuff didn't seem to come out until, more recent than 2021. In June, the Office of the Director of National Intelligence, DNI, released its preliminary assessment of UFO sightings from 2004 to 2021. The report suggested that the UFOs, now known as UAPs, would fall into 5 likely categories: airborne clutter, natural atmospheric phenomena, public and private aerospace development programs, foreign adversary systems, and a catch-all other bin. More funding and reporting was needed, the report said. 2022, NASA jumps in to investigate. In April 2022, the Pentagon announces the formation of the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office to investigate objects that might pose a threat to national security. The following June, NASA announced it was setting up an independent study program to cover the issues from a scientific perspective. We will be identifying what data from civilians, governments, nonprofits, companies exist, what else we should try to collect, and how to best analyze it, said David Spergel, the study team leader. And 2022 also brought another acronym change. Unidentified aerial phenomena are now officially called unidentified anomalous phenomena. Okay. And in 2023, this year, the truth is still out there. Whatever is happening up above is still hasn't entirely been explained. The DNI released a follow-up report in June 2023, identifying an additional 510 sightings, of which 170 remained unexplained. In those cases, unidentified craft often appear to have demonstrated unusual flight characteristics or performance capabilities. The report said, most explosively, the former intelligence official named David Grush came forward in June with the whistleblower report alleging the U.S. government has in possession of intact and partially intact vehicles from UFO crash sites. The craft, he said, were of non-human origin. But he also said he had never personally seen the objects, inviting skepticism from outside experts. In the long history of claims of extraterrestrial visitors, it is this level of specificity that always seems to be missing, said Boston University's Joshua Semeter, the professor of electrical and computer engineering and a member of the NASA team examining these reports, told BU Today. The evidence may be wanting, but the questions and the sightings and the investigations continue. Indeed. All right, so that was this article. I think it's definitely interesting. I think we should get into this deeper. I know that from watching Forbidden Frontier with Gary Biegler from Enigmatic, Quarter Black Garrett, and of course, his name escapes me now. Damn. Adam Krigler. Sorry, man. Sorry. They have gone through the interview with the whistleblower. A lot of it were, they were saying, we actually know all of this stuff already. He's just really, kind of confirming everything or everything that other people have already said or claimed to have been true. There was no new evidence or anything like that, so take it with a grain of salt. However, I think that we could still go through it if you're interested. Let me know down in the comments below. What do you think? Have you ever had an alien or UFO sighting or UAP, whatever? Don't ask me. I'm going to continue saying UFOs. Sorry. Let me know what you think. And hey, if you like this video, smash that like button. Consider subscribing and hitting the bell for notifications. All right, until next time, take care.